That was an homage. Oh, I don't know. Recent political events have caused me to reassess my position on Richard Nixon. So, okay. So let's get started. House Bill 23. Who's got that one? Oh, Delegate Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommendation on House Bill 23, despite the sponsor problem, is favorable with amendments. As amended, the bill establishes that an owner of a manufactured home community must comply with specified requirements when selling the community, including providing notice of the terms of any offer or contract that has been conditionally accepted to a homeowner's organization in the community, and providing the homeowners with opportunity to purchase the mobile home community. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 alters requirements related to relocation plans for mobile home parks. And amendment number 3 makes several changes that, for an interest of the time, I'm not going to read out, but instead just succinctly explain what the amendments do, which is to essentially say that when someone wants to buy a mobile home or a manufactured home community, they have to, if they do fail to make 2 different commitments, one regarding the rent increases and one regarding keeping the park a park, then they have to provide an opportunity to purchase for the residents of the mobile home park to collectively band together to buy the park. There is no opposition. We accepted the amendments from the Horizon Land Company. I move the bill, or I move the amendments.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us as amended. Is there a second? Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Everyone's present, and it's unanimous. Bill passes. Okay, yeah, we got a full house. House Bill 32.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 32 received...
Oh, wait a minute. On that last bill,
yep.
When you defend it on the floor, go full up Alabama.
Okay. I can promise you that, Mr. Chairman. I think I'll throw in like a, just because you live in a trailer doesn't make you trash.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
A little preview. You like that line? Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. I'll do a little bit more of a twang. House Bill 32 is slightly different. House Bill 32, the subcommittee recommendation is favorable with no amendments. However, my understanding is that there might be an amendment from one of our colleagues, one of the members of the subcommittee. But the short bill summary is that basically the bill establishes an existing council called the Maryland Food Resiliency Council, and it puts it within MDEM, the Maryland Department of Emergency Management. MDEM will staff the council, and the bill makes other technical changes.
Okay. Are there any amendments for the bill? Okay, Delegate Jacobs.
Well, I don't have a copy of it. It's been submitted, but basically the amendment adds a member of the seafood industry to the Resiliency, Maryland Food System Resiliency Council, which kind of addresses what Delegate Foley was talking about this afternoon. It puts a member of the seafood industry on that council.
Yeah. Let me ask, sponsors basically.
Sponsors fine with it. Yeah. The subcommittee chair is fine with it.
Okay, great. All right. Any discussion on the amendment other than that? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the amended bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous in the committee. What's that? Oh, right. Yeah, here we go. Okay. House Bill 250, Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As amended, House Bill 250 authorizes the MVA to issue a special disabled veteran registration plate that does not display the international symbol of access in recognition of the vehicle owner's military service-connected disability to an individual who is an armed service an armed forces veteran and is between 50% and 99% inclusive, service-connected disabled, as designed or classified by the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. In short, they can get this, it's a separate tag. It doesn't have the wheelchair that we all know to indicate disabled access. They can get them now if they're 100% disabled as determined by the Department of Veterans Affairs. This says they can also get it if they're 50 to 99%.
Okay.
Move the amendment, which is the bill.
Okay, any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The amendment carries. Is there a second on the bill as amended? Second. Okay. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Again, unanimous in the committee. House Bill 253, Vice Chairman. Yes, sir. Oh, it needs an amendment. It'll be on the voting list next. It'll be on the voting list next week. Okay, 253.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. This bill requires MDE to exempt by regulation an on-farm composting facility from the requirement to obtain a composting facility permit if the on-farm composting facility meets specified requirements. Number of amendments. Definitions are altered. Regulations require new composting.
That dry cough I've had since Thailand.
To require new composting facilities be constructed and operated in accordance with a nutrient management plan and a soil conservation or an agricultural waste management plan, reduces the allowable area for active food scrap composting to 10,000 square feet of area or less, alters the record-keeping requirement under the bill, requires MDE to submit a report that analyzes the impact of on-farm composting facilities in Maryland, including recommendations on the feasibility of expanding facilities to allow for up to 40,000 square feet to be used for food scrap composting activities. I move the amendments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? Okay, any discussion on all those amendments? Yeah, go ahead.
That's right. Cap is now 10,000 or less for food scrap composting. Yeah. We're requiring MDE to study and make any recommendations on the feasibility of expanding facilities to grow to go up to 40,000 square feet. Yeah.
Okay. On the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. I've had this weird dry cough that would just come and then disappear, and usually at the least convenient moment. No, I got one already. Thank you. No, I'm good. Oh, see? I'm ready. Is there a motion on the bill? So moved. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. Oh, pile-on amendment. Dana?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation from the subcommittee is favorable, no amendments. The bill establishes a paint stewardship program to address the collection and management of post-consumer architectural paint. Move the bill.
Second. And there's a second. Discussion on the bill before we do a roll call. Roll call.
Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. This bill requires MDE to establish a system to track the chain of custody of synthetic turf installed on sports and playing fields in the state as specified. Amendment number 1 alters definitions under the bill. The key definitional change is it alters the definition of synthetic turf to only include turf fields that are at least 5,000 square feet in size. So no puppy pads. Amendment number 2 clarifies the reporting requirements under the bill and alters the penalty provision to be an administrative penalty rather than a civil penalty. Move the amendments.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us as amended. Is there a second? Yes. Yeah.
Say that you put the amendment in for out of state. Did you mention that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I
thank you.
didn't specify that, but that is one of the amendments, and I can
No, I
explain
just
that.
wanted to make sure it's in there. That's
It's
all.
in there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. Pardon me?
Yes, sir.
Right. Synthetic turf. Correct. Yes. Roll call.
Vice Chair,
Yes.
Holmes. Love. Jacobs. Otto. Siliberti. Tarassa. Ruth. Long. Allen. Araki. Morgan. Addison. Baker. Ziegler. Foley. Guyton. Davis. Lehman. Stewart. Boyce. Healy. Vice Chair.
Chairman votes yes. 18-5. Okay. House Bill 325. Delegate Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recommendation from the subcommittee is favorable with amendments. As amended, the bill requires the State Board of Veterinary Medical Examiners to establish an expedited process to authorize veterinarian practitioners who hold a current valid license to practice medicine in another state or jurisdictions to become licensed to practice veterinary medicine in the state. The bill also requires the Secretary of Health to allow veterinarian technicians and other clinical staff who work in or for an animal shelter or animal control facility to administer rabies vaccine subject to specified conditions. Amendment number 1 just makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have required the board to authorize out-of-state veterinarians to provide routine medical care in animal shelters, and instead requires the board to establish the expedited process and as described, and requires the board to report back to the General Assembly on the status of establishing the expedited process by December 1st, 2023. And it strikes the language that would have required the Secretary of Health to allow individuals who work in or for a veterinarian hospital or animal control facility to administer rabies vaccines and instead require that veterinarian technicians or other clinical staff be allowed to administer rabies vaccines as previously described. Move the amendments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the, or questions on the amendments? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. Bill's before us is amended. Is there a second? Any discussion on the bill as amended? We'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. No. Jacobs, Otto, Siliberti, Baker, Naraki, okay. Anybody abstaining? Okay. The vote is 18-5. Bill passes. House Bill 352. There we go.
Want me to go?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I said love, sorry.
Okay. HB 352 is the two-person crew. HB 352 generally prohibits a train or light engine used in connection with the movement of railroad freight that shares the same rail corridor as a high-speed passenger or commuter train from operating in the state unless it has a crew of at least 2 individuals. Move the bill.
Second.
Any discussion on the bill? Okay. Pardon me? CSX. The freight company, yeah, right. Okay. There were no amendments?
No.
Okay, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein? Yes. Holmes? Aye. Love?
Yes.
Jacobs? Otto?
No.
Gilberty? Teresa? Ruth?
Yes.
Long? Yes. Allen? Yes. Naraki? Morgan? That was a yes.
That was a yes.
Addison? Baker? Ziegler? Foley? Guyton? Davis? Lehman? Stewart? Boyce? Healy? Aye.
Chair votes yes. And the vote is 18-5. I'm starting to see a pattern here. The bill passes. House Bill 353. Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. HB 353 authorizes the use of traffic control device monitoring systems on state and local highways to record violations of state law requiring obedience to traffic control devices. The vote from the subcommittee was unfavorable. Move the unfavorable motion.
Okay, Delegate Healy.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank the subcommittee and the subcommittee chair. However, I disagree very strongly with their recommendation, and I would like to explain why I'm going to vote against the unfavorable. I think this is really important. It's a safety measure, and it also has the support of other people who it has safety measure for so many different reasons. One, just traffic safety. And number two, the safety of everyone involved in a traffic stop that doesn't need to be happening. And third, the fact that we have a shortage of police officers in a lot of our small municipalities, and giving them the opportunity to have traffic monitoring systems to control the traffic and the stop signs, the no wait, do not enter, no left turn, all of those signs, I think is extremely important. It is a local option. It's an enabling piece of legislation. And just for everyone's information, if this does fail, which it probably will, I plan to reintroduce it next year as a local Prince George's County only bill, and I expect it to pass then. Thank you.
Okay, the motion is unfavorable. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Opposed?
No.
Who's no? You've got Long, Allen, Healy, Lehman, anyone else? That's it. Okay, so it's 19-4. Wait, did I miss somebody? No, it's 19-4. 19-4, okay. The bill fails. Okay, House Bill 367, Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 367 authorizes the use of stop sign monitoring systems on state and local highway to record specified violations of state laws related to required stops when approaching a stop sign. The amount of civil penalty varies based on the annual income of the individual cited as well as the type of vehicle. The motion from the subcommittee is unfavorable.
Is
Move
this
to
the socialism for scofflaws bill?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any discussion on this bill? Seeing none, unfavorable motion, all those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The unfavorable carries unanimously. 378. Who's got that? Black Bear.
Black Bears. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subcommittee recommendation is favorable with the amendments. As amended, the bill requires DNR to accept requests for grants from the Black Bear Damage Reimbursement Fund for projects that reduce conflicts between humans and black bears through non-lethal methods. The bill establishes provisions governing grant eligibility for the projects and caps total grant funding for the project. The bill modifies existing provisions governing reimbursements from the fund for damage caused by black bears. The governor must include in the annual budget bill an appropriation of at least $50,000 to the fund. The bill renames DNR's existing Black Bear Damage Reimbursement Fund as the Black Bear Conflict Reduction and Damage Reimbursement Fund. Say that 5 times. Pass. Subcommittee amendments are to reduce the required annual appropriation to at least $50,000, 2, strike the increase in the minimum funding for black bear damage, and 3, reserve at least 10% of annual appropriations for funding reimbursement for black bear damage. Move the amendments.
Is there any discussion on the amendments? Sure, no, don't
Because it is so
apologize.
late. So was there any discussion about trying to limit the permits for shooting the bears if you access the fund? Or any
That was not the discussion of this,
of the subcommittee?
or of this bill in particular. I know that's something you had mentioned before,
Yeah.
that if folks were working towards a conflict, you didn't want them also to then obtain a license.
Right, I thought, okay. All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, on the amendments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The amendment carries. On the bill
Move
as
the bill,
amended.
Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimously. House Bill 425, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The report from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee is favorable with amendment. As amended, the bill makes various changes to the requirements of land installment contract, including those related to title searches requiring inclusions within the contract and the application threshold for when a purchaser may demand a grant of the property subject to specified conditions. The committee amendment strikes the repeal of certain required elements to the land installment contract. Move the amendment, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us as amended. Is there a second? There's a second. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Bill carries unanimously. House Bill 462.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill received a favorable report with amendments from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. As amended, the bill alters the dispute settlement mechanism under the Maryland Cooperative Housing Act and makes technical and clarifying changes. The bill applies prospectively from the effective date unless the bylaws of the Cooperative Cooperative Housing Corporation or the proprietary lease of the member states otherwise. The two amendments, Mr. Chair, one is technical, and the second one corrects a drafting error. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Any discussion on those amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it.
Move
The
the
ayes
bills
have it.
amended, Mr. Chair.
Bills before us as amended. Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous among all those present. House Bill 534.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill received a favorable report from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. There are no amendments to this bill. Just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, this was the bill that previous years I was not more specific with my specificity,
Of course.
if you recall. The bill requires specified funds for the reserve accounts of a common ownership community to be deposited on or before the last day of the fiscal year. It also extends to 3 years, from 3 years to 5 years, the amount of time after an initial reserve study that such entities have to attain the annual reserve funding level recommended in the study. And finally, Mr. Chair, explicitly requires homeowners associations and residential condominiums to review the reserve study annually for accuracy. Move the bill, Mr. Chair. There are no amendments.
Is there a second? And there's a second. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimous in the committee. House Bill 537, Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 537 requires MVA to give a recurring notice to a person who has been previously notified by MVA that the person owes a fine or fee. The recurring notice must be given every 30 days. The motion from the subcommittee is unfavorable.
Okay. Any discussion on the unfavorable motion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The unfavorable carries unanimously. House Bill 659. Delegate Love.
House Bill 659 requires MDOT to conduct a study on the implications and feasibility of prohibiting vehicles with a semi-trailer, pole trailer, or trailer from using a contraflow lane on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. The motion from the subcommittee was unfavorable.
Okay. There's a second. Any discussion on the unfavorable motion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Jacobs, Otto, Baker. That's it. So the vote is 21 to, no, Baker. Oh, we're looking for him right there next to Ziegler. Okay. So 20 to 3. The unfavorable motion carries. House Bill 683. There we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. HB 683, recommendation from the subcommittee is favorable. There are no amendments. It authorizes DNR to issue an apprentice hunting license to a person younger than 17 who has previously been issued an apprentice hunting license. Move the bill.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on this bill with a sponsor problem? No, just joking. No, just joking. Yes, go ahead. No, don't apologize.
So my question is, issue an apprentice hunting license to someone who previously had been issued an apprentice? Could you just explain what that means?
So there's a one-time non-renewable apprentice hunting license that allows the person for all single season at the purpose. Yes.
Okay.
So yes.
It gives them more, okay. All right, I get it. Thank you.
What, Jay?
I have to explain this on the floor, so.
That's right. This is your
If a young person has an apprentice license and he goes through their cycle and the parents say, you know, I want to be with him for another cycle or maybe two. You know, I don't think they're ready to hunt by themselves yet. Then they can buy another apprentice license. So you could do it multiple times, but it's really about more parental or adult supervision, and allows them to buy more than one license, you know, one time. So it's more oversight. How's
Adult
that?
supervision, that's kind of like
Adult
Barry keeping
supervision.
an eye on Otto, right?
It's sort of.
Okay. Delegate Terraza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and maybe I misunderstood in subcommittee, but my understanding is they did not have to have supervision with the apprentice license. If they'd taken, there was a test, if they take that, and
Hunter safety course.
so if they take the hunter safety course, the apprenticeship is not with supervision.
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you.
If they take the,
Right.
right. Okay, were there any amendments or is it straight? Okay, is there a second? Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of Friendly Morgan's bill, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Put your hand up. So Terraza is a no, Foley, Guyton, Lehman. Anybody else? Okay, 19-4. The bill passes. House Bill 696.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The subcommittee recommendations were favorable with amendments. As amended, HB 696 establishes a Black
Hey,
Bass
settle down over there.
Conservation Fund and DNR, consisting of voluntary monetary donations made by individuals at the time of purchasing a recreational fishing license to be used for black bass stock habitat enhancement, tournaments, and conservation research. Subcommittee amendments provide for the investment in interest earnings of the fund. Move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Any abstentions? The bill carries. Yay! You know, I really got to get my hair cut. Okay. All right. So the next several bills are withdrawn by sponsors. So let me read them off. House Bill, the motion's going to be unfavorable, withdrawn by sponsor, and they are House Bill 91, House Bill 836, House Bill 850, House Bill 932, House Bill 941, House Bill 1024, and House Bill 1221. Does anybody want to separate one of these bills, or is it okay to vote them all simultaneously? Okay, I guess we're going to vote them. Okay, so the motion's unfavorable on all of those bills, unfavorable withdrawn by sponsor on all those bills. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The unfavorable motion withdrawn by sponsor carries. Any announcements?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Turn your microphone off.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, it has been officially, it's the 48th anniversary of one of our colleagues finishing first in the mile at the NJCA Region 20 Championship Indoor Track Meet. He placed first in the mile, and he placed second in the 1,000-yard run. So if everyone could put their hands together and congratulate Delegate Terry Baker on his 48th